Nice. Nice.
Iowa Fireworks Farm is Iowa's largest fireworks store. 6,000 square feet of hand-picked fireworks, over 50 brands and 1,300 different products to choose from. But they're also family-owned and operated. Iowa Fireworks Farm is the one stop you need to make before July 4th. You'll find them just south of the Metro. Take I-35 to exit 43 at New Virginia. Head east and look for the Big Red Barn. At Iowa Fireworks Farm, the toughest part will be deciding what not to buy.
Years of Jonas, living the dream tour, performing Nick Solo and the administration, Joe and DNCE, and the Jonas Brothers. Get tickets now at HighVTix.com.
Yeah.
Join us for the Murph and Andy Patio Tour every Friday, continuing this week at Founders Irish Pub in Bondurant, right on the Chautauqua Valley Bike Trail, featuring great food, drinks, and a 3 o'clock happy hour every weekday. The party starts at 1 this Friday at Founders Irish Pub in Bondurant with Murph and Andy and Iowa Everywhere.
Murph and Andy, proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru, live and on demand across Iowa everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is Murph and Andy. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
It is Murph and Andy, going to be a hot one today. We're glad you're with us here for at least the next hour or so on Iowa Everywhere. Andy, 1 year from today, the World Cup in the Americas begins. The United States, Canada, and Mexico team up for the World Cup.
Okay, I will begin my preparations now.
365 days, the countdown begins. Meantime, the United States men's national team is losing a lot. So let's shore that up, fellas. Don't embarrass us in LA 1 year from today. Andy, I had a little debacle last night, and I paid the price overnight. Want to discuss it with you if you have a moment. All right. So, you may have heard, I think you know, I like pickled eggs. So I start each day with a couple of pickled eggs. So last night, I was eating a pickled egg because I decided to have one at dinner break too, and it just didn't taste right to me, but I kept eating it. And Jenny came over and smelled the jar of eggs and said, "Those are rotten eggs." Literally, the expression. Got that. They're in my stomach at this point.
Ooh.
So I switch over to a bowl of cereal, get the peanut butter Chex Mix, Chex cereal, and some milk out of the refrigerator. And I say, "I don't think this milk tastes quite right either." Jenny says, "Check the expiration date." It's like 10 days ago. That's not too bad because that's actually, I think, the sell-by date, right?
That's pretty bad, I think. I did a story at Anderson Erickson one time, and they said you probably have, I think they said you probably have 7 days after the expiration date. Yeah, it is a sell-by date, but I mean, you're talking about milk.
I'm outside that. Yeah, I'm at 10 days. So Jenny expresses a reservation. I keep eating. So
Do you drink skim milk?
No, this is like, was it 1% or 2%? I think it's 2% milk. The red cap, maybe it depends.
That's whole milk. That's whole milk.
Oh, okay. Well, it was good.
Yeah.
Well, except it didn't taste quite right.
I think it doesn't sound like it was good. I think the higher fat content I actually keeps longer.
Ooh.
Like half and half, and cream will keep for a long time until the cream just like turns into like a solid, which it does. I
complained again, and Jenny said, "Let me smell that milk." So, this is spoiled. So now I've eaten a rotten egg.
You couldn't smell the milk?
And spoiled milk. Well, I did smell it, but I was like, yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I don't have a great sense of smell.
And you had rotten pickled
just eating a rotten egg.
Palate.
Yeah. So I said, "Well, what do I need to do? Am I in some kind of trouble here?" And she said, accurately, "Not now, but probably later."
Yeah, it's in the mail. So how was your night?
I think our friend Telly Hughes put it best when he said, "Yeah, I got to go. I got the mud butt."
I got the mud butt. Yeah, that's what he would say. When you say that, people don't don't argue. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, do what you need to do.
All right, we'll see you in a bit. Yeah, not smart.
You got me into pickled eggs, and I love those too. I make them here, and the thing to do is just when you get done with a jar of pickles, just hard boil like 8 or 10 eggs and put them in the pickle jar with about an extra tablespoon of salt, because they soak up the stuff. They soak the salt right out of the pickle brine. And you need more than you think. And then you just put that jar in the back of the refrigerator, and like 2-3 weeks later, you got amazing pickled eggs.
You've made some really good pickled eggs. These were from Amazon, and that would be a tough Kohl's return, wouldn't it? To just go in there with the jar. These eggs are rotten. Can you please take these back? And they would still send you with Kohl's cash, and you'd still pick up a polo for 80% off on your way out.
Yeah. Can you return food on Amazon?
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Because I thought about that, because this jar was almost full, and eggs, as we've famously heard, are expensive right now. Mm-hmm. So this was a near $50 purchase for this huge jar of eggs. And it was just a couple of eggs in.
How many eggs per big jar? Do you know?
Not sure on this one. I'm going to estimate 25 eggs.
$2 an egg?
Yeah, something like that. Eggs are expensive. Also today, put hashtag F1 Palms, Palms, the movie theater in Waukee. Hashtag F1 Palms into the comments. We're at whatever platform you're watching. If you'd like to win 2 tickets to the F1 Brad Pitt movie coming to the Palms June 26th, but we're going to have the Iowa premiere. Let's call it the Iowa Everywhere premiere, June 25th at 7 p.m. We're also going to give away by the end of the show 4 pairs of tickets via email from people who entered during Monday's show. So all of this coming up with Mr. Movie. But right now, Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for today's sports and more. College Hoops Help, Sydney's Bathwater Bliss, and John Wick Ballerina. All coming up from Guest House Tavern, North Woods inspired Midwestern hospitality, high or low since the last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Tim Hawkins runs the show up there at Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax, and he just texted just a few minutes ago. He is the first person that I've reached out to about these tickets to F1 who has said, I can't make it. Everybody else has said, yeah, I'll be there.
I pictured him pulling up in his Porsche. What is it? What kind is it?
Porsche. Yeah. 911. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. You're a Porsche guy. Porsche.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
It is how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Full stop. He is. He's a car guy. I think he may be out. I think he's going to be out of town at the time, though. So it's too bad. Everybody else, though, is excited about going to that movie.
Great buzz. Great buzz on this movie.
Yeah. So you will not see Tim Hawkins at the movie, but you will find him up at Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax. And my high right now is, this is my favorite month of the year. I love June. And one of the things I love most about June is just my yard. Everything is just fresh and green and growing like crazy. I got the tomatoes just kicking ass in the backyard. And then these are shishito peppers, growing those this year. Already got a bunch of those going. And then the mint is blowing up. Great.
For the julep.
Great for cocktails. Yeah, mint juleps or mojitos or a million other things. And then the June berries are ripe. Some people call them service berries. Some people call them June berries. They're delicious. They're actually they're trees.
Are these file photos, or this is actually your yard?
Just went out there this morning and took them.
Nice.
Yeah, took these pictures.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's usually a race between Eddie and the birds to eat as many June berries as possible.
That's great.
Yeah, so it is it's just such a beautiful time. It's going to get a little hot today, but it's still a really pretty day, and I love the way my yard looks. By the time you get to like August, stuff is just, fried. Doesn't look nearly as nice, but June, it's still fresh and just really starting to hit the jets and grow.
Going to be hot today. My high is Earnhardt, the documentary on Amazon Prime. Chris Williams said to watch this, said you didn't need to be a big racing fan. And, I'm a casual racing fan at most, but this was my era of highest interest, the late 90s into the 2000s, or into the early 2000s, but late 80s and then the 90s is what I should have said. The era is the late 80s through the 90s. This is when Earnhardt is at his most dominant and wins 7 Cup championships. But this is one of those documentaries that is really not about racing as much as it is a fascinating character study. And it has it all. Unlike most documentaries, it doesn't have an agenda. It shows the superhero, and you really come to understand why this man was such a star and completely changed the game in sports marketing. I mean, he made millions each year in the 90s on his name, image, and likeness before other athletes were doing this. And he did it by doing all the licensing himself. And he knew what his brand was, and he kept leaning into it. And that part of it's fascinating. But then there is the flawed man, the flawed father, the 8th grade dropout, the family troubles because he's obsessed with racing. I mean, it's everything. And just everybody's in it. His son Dale Jr. is so likable. His daughter Kelly, who's in it, is so sharp and likable. And just throughout, each episode revolves around one particular thing in the Earnhardt legacy. And I'm to the fourth and final part, which I haven't watched yet, which is going to be the death at Daytona, the aftermath, all of that. But Andy, it is a great documentary. I see on Internet Movie Database, each episode is rated higher than the one before it. Right now it's 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, and 9.6 on a scale of 1 to 10.
And this is Netflix again?
No, this is Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, okay.
Yeah,
I have seen it. I need to watch it.
It's really good, and it will remind you, Andy, because I know you went to the Daytona 500 in the aftermath of Dale Earnhardt's death. It will remind you of when NASCAR was at its apex for rivalries and rough racing, and what led to Days of Thunder and Talladega Nights, just when it was a big sport. It was in the conversation for one of America's most popular sports, and just hasn't come close to having that kind of traction with the public since. It still has its fans, of course.
Yeah, that was one of the most eye-opening things about joining the world of the sports media, right? Covering sports for a living. I grew up very aware of racing, but really, the Indianapolis 500 and those drivers, Formula One racing was just, much bigger where I was from. I imagine where you were down in Florida, I imagine NASCAR was really big. Yeah. And everybody knew it, but in St. Louis, it was not the same. So you heard about drivers, you kind of knew their names. You knew Dale Earnhardt and who Cale Yarborough and those kind of guys. But for the most part, the rest of them were not household names. So when I started in TV sports up in Wisconsin, it was a real, a light bulb moment for me. That would have been about, 97 or so. And, the guys I was around, they were just like, well, here's one thing that you have to kind of let sink into your head. They're like, NASCAR is as popular as football among our audience. And I was like, what? This is Wisconsin. People name their kids after the Packers, right? I mean, there should be no comparison to that. But as far as following week in, week out, watching on television, NASCAR was on par with the NFL, or it had more saturation to the television audience there. Even, I mean, there's no NASCAR track anywhere near there, right?
That is fascinating.
And then I just, for a while, it was hard to accept. I was just like, I don't believe that. But then as you started covering it and started paying more attention and just kind of like auditioning this opinion that somebody had given you, or this new worldview, you started seeing that stood up. And then as I started, I was running highlights all the time, I got into it too. And you kind of understood it. I mean, you had these drivers that had their own fan bases.
Yes. Loyal fan bases.
Really loyal fan bases. And then you'd start looking in like people's yards and their flagpoles and at the, their bumpers and stuff like that. And then you realize you're like, oh my God, this all makes sense. That guy's got an 88 flag because he's a Dale Jarrett fan. That guy's got a 3 flag because that's an Earnhardt family. And this guy's got a number 24, personalized license plate with JG24. Some of you, okay, that's Jeff Gordon. And then all of a sudden you're like, everywhere you look. Isn't that weird? Like sometimes you never see something, then somebody makes you aware of it and you see it everywhere. Mm-hmm. And you wonder how in the world you didn't always see it everywhere. That's how NASCAR was with me. And just as I was really understanding that and kind of getting to cover it, and NASCAR was expanding and tracks coming here to the Midwest, one in Chicago, Dale Earnhardt died. And I remember that night, I would say, and you probably agree with that the night that he died, or was it afternoon that he died at that Daytona 500, was one of like the most memorable days in the Channel 13 newsroom for me, because we had a producer at the time who didn't know who that was. And I think you had to walk over to her and say, you need to have this in the first block of the news tonight, because this is absolutely huge news. And she was like, I think she didn't want to do it. Didn't she try to argue with you for a second there? But
she did. She has since thanked me for telling her she needed to do it.
Yeah. And I remember people like calling into the voicemail on the news
crying.
Desk. And they were just like, they just like wanted to talk to the answering machine, just about how upset they were. And then, as you said, the next year I was down at Daytona covering the Daytona 500 for us. And they, there was that memorial there kind of right at that turn, right at that spot where he hit the wall and died. And on the other side of the wall, outside the track, there was a huge memorial to him, which had been going for a year. But it was still there. And it was like so big that, the track had to kind of like build around it, like work the race around it. But it's kind of too bad, because it seemed like, once he got to a point where his stardom was fully incorporated into American sports, and all that hard work that he put in was realized, he died. And at that point, feels like the air started to come out of NASCAR, because I remember what it was like in the late 90s, where Jeff Gordon was winning like every other race.
Yes, and this shows Earnhardt was a little jealous of that, because he's at the tail end of his career at this point. The one goal he has left is finally winning the Daytona 500, because he had stacked up all these terrible ways to lose. Flat tire on the last lap, you name it, running out of gas, it happened to him. And then there's that incredible moment where he finally wins it after 20 years, and every race team lines up to shake his hand and just show him respect, even though he raced as hard as anybody has ever raced. In fact, sometimes he intentionally hit people and spun people out. But as you watch this and you see it in the 90s, you're just reminded, like, okay, I could be a fan of that. This looks like a blast. Like, this is racing when it was at its most fun. And it just doesn't have the same cast of characters anymore as it did then, for various reasons. but it's really good. And I learned all kinds of stuff. I'm sure race fans know, but like, he really couldn't handle Dale Jr. anymore, so he just sent him off to military school where he was miserable there. And then his older sister, who was so worried about Dale Jr., she enrolls in the military school on her own just so she can look out for him. I mean, that's how close those two were. There's just all kinds of good stuff in there, and I still have the final episode to watch, which I'm sure is going to hit hard, because as he's winning the Daytona 500 finally, I'm not even a Dale Earnhardt fan, and I've seen what a flawed man he was watching this documentary, but I'm still getting like all caught up in the moment because the storytelling is so terrific. So yeah, recommended even for non-race fans. And if you're a race fan, absolutely you'll love it.
Isn't that ironic that a race driver like that can become such a star? Because they're in a car. You don't see them. You know, you rarely, you know, they're not, their personality doesn't really come out at all during the event. I mean, yeah, maybe one driver is a little bit more aggressive than the other, but you can't see that.
But you can picture his black number 3 car and people getting scared to see him in the rear view mirror. And and he had, Andy, he had the kit. The glasses, the mustache,
the hat. I mean, but the fact that his character is so strong that it comes out of a helmet, out of a racing suit, out of the car. You know, these tracks are absolutely gigantic. You have no idea how big they are. And somehow that personality comes out of all of that and then reaches these upper, you know, stands at some of the biggest athletic complexes in the entire world. It just blows your mind that he was able to reach that many people.
We were just having the discussion of how most sports documentaries now come into 2 camps, but both of the camps are agendas. Like with the Brett Favre Hour on Netflix, that's intended to make him look bad, and he deserves and earns some of that. But
they've got a point of view, right?
They have a point of view
from,
but it hammers it pretty hard. It's certainly not a look at his whole life and career. No. It's a look at the downside of Brett Favre.
The underbelly.
And then you get these other documentaries with the athlete has participated in them or endorsed it or given his consent, and then it ends up being really flattering and smooths out the edges and everything. This is all of it and shows all shadings. It's really, really good. Let's get the buzz here on a Wednesday.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
Yeah, that air conditioner's cranking up today at the Fales house, I'll bet. We're going to hit the mid-90s.
It is on. Kicked right in there and worked like a charm. Yeah, I'm glad Logier came over there and serviced it, got me all set, but they can do the same thing for you. It's not too late. If you went to turn yours on today and it didn't fire, make that call to Logier right now. They'll get to your house.
Do it quickly. College basketball, some rule changes are coming, designed to help fix the end of the game bog down that we've talked about, mostly due to reviews. It's brutal. I mean, you get the final 2 minutes can take up to 20 minutes, maybe longer. It's ridiculous. It's killing this game we love. It's bad in the NBA too, but it's been worse in college basketball. So there now will be coaches' challenges. You get one challenge, then you get another challenge if your challenge is upheld, like if you were right. This is designed to have fewer reviews, but it'll still be way too many. The challenges will be to review out-of-bounds calls and goaltending or basket interference. There will be modifications also to continuing motion on a shot. You know how the men's college basketball and the NBA are different on the continuation, the and one. College basketball is now going to be more like the NBA in that. And positive momentum sounds like to quarters. Women's college basketball plays quarters, WNBA, NBA, high school. If you played middle school basketball, quarters. College basketball is the only one that plays halves. And it looks like this is long overdue, but it looks like that could happen. That will speed the game up too and take down some of the free throw shooting contests that no one really wants to see.
The quarters will speed it up. I guess the first concern that I have is there's 2 more solid long commercial breaks that you're going to have.
It will be an opportunity for another media break. You're right about that, but they
have those anyway. But
there'll be fewer foul shots should be, and the flow should go better. But let's get a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas and Ames in Urbandale.
Let's see here. Here we go. Should men's college basketball switch from halves to quarters? Yes or no?
Well, the yeses have it 3-1 here so far. We'll see. I think for some people probably haven't, and I would understand it, done a deep dive on what the difference is in this. I learned quite a bit of this from Chris Hassel just because he was doing men's and women's basketball games for a couple of years, and he just talked about how much better the flow was and how much more enjoyable the game was with quarters in the women's game versus the men's. And then I started to look at it more, and I would agree with the yeses on this.
Yeah, and part of it's because the fouls reset, and so you don't get to the
Correct.
double bonus nearly as quick. And
that's it.
Yeah, so I've enjoyed it's men's college basketball is the only level of basketball that does halves.
I guess I didn't realize the fouls reset like that.
Yep,
I
they
didn't
do.
think about that. Yeah, that does tell you it will help. I also just kind of like the idea of breaking it up a little bit more so you can kind of sprint toward the end of the first quarter, sprint toward the end of the second quarter, the third quarter. And it's not like this long no man's land of game clock, each half. It reminds me of a soccer game where you're just like, God, where is the break here? And it's like these, trying to keep up with exactly where the media timeouts are coming is always kind of like a shot in the dark. I like the idea of just having a little more structure.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's coming. It's overdue. Interact on YouTube. Email Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. On X, formerly Twitter, it's Murph_Andy. All powered by the Cellular Advantage with 35 regional locations. Proud partner with U.S. Cellular since 1993. Some more hot topics and quick hitters here. The Texas Tech World Series winner-take-all game was the highest-rated softball game in history. Nearly 2.5 million people watch this. Yeah. So
I wonder why that is. Is there a Caitlin Clark in there?
Well, the outstanding player of the tournament was the Dowling Catholic alumna, Tegan Cavan.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Texas Tech pitcher who was paid more than $1 million to go from Stanford to Texas Tech, and up until she got knocked out of the final game, had pitched every inning for the Red Raiders. This is a fun sport to watch, and it does frame well on television, but it is growing. So that's a big number for softball. Also, ESPN says its Sunday night game between the Red Sox and Yankees was the highest rated Major League Baseball regular season game in years. So get ready for more Red Sox and Yankees.
So is that good or bad? I mean,
yeah, depends. If you want to watch the Red Sox
no,
and Yankees.
I mean, was that a good number, or is that showing just how bad the numbers have been lately?
Well, it's both.
Because it seems like every time we point something out, it's like we're pointing out that it got, Caitlin Clark's game got higher ratings than any Major League Baseball game in 10 years or something.
I think we've seen enough of a sample size to realize that the pitch clock has been good for baseball. The pace has sped up. It's better. I think it's easier to watch a game. A lot of people still aren't doing it on television. I heard Chris Hassel say on Two Guys he just does not watch baseball anymore. I know you still do. You have a team you're passionate about, the Cardinals.
I don't watch it like I used to. And the other thing I will still say that is alarming to me as somebody who grew up on 80s and 90s baseball. My God, the batting averages are so low. I mean, the Cardinals just have they're 8-9 games over 500, and they got 4 or 5 guys that are hitting 240 or under. I mean, it's just crazy. And even the changes to shifting around the infielders and that has not produced many more balls in play. It doesn't seem like.
It doesn't seem like it to me either, and it seems like we're still primarily dealing with the 3 outcomes. It's a strikeout, it's a
home run, or it's an almost home run.
There still is not the action there needs to be, but there's no doubt that the pitch clock has helped. Fever now 2-3 without Caitlin Clark. Looked bad in the second half against the Dream last night. Got smoked. Clark could return for the Saturday game versus the Liberty, and for many different reasons, that's good for not just the Fever, but for the WNBA. Wanted to play a little bit of a interview here with Flau'jae Johnson. When I had an opportunity to speak to her, and AD, help me out here if you would. She is also a hip hop artist, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like with some hits, with some stuff that gets streamed and listened and on radio shows.
Yeah. It's not like Shaq doing a rap album.
It's not a vanity thing. She's good.
Right. She's actually good.
Okay. So I really enjoyed interviewing her. I heard she had
she's at LSU, right?
Yeah. She had she has just an interesting voice, and her cadence, not surprisingly, was just a really good interview. But here she is on Caitlin Clark.
When we talked a couple weeks ago, you talked about how the two of you are kind of tied. You think you're going to break the tie?
I mean, we tied, but I'm up though, because we won in the championship game. You know what I'm saying? She beat me in the Elite 8, took away my Final Four ring. But we are tied, and that's why I'm going to some Fever games this year, you know what I'm saying? Just to scope the scenery out. But nah, that's my dog. Like, I'll text her, ask her for advice all the time. I'm like, how you shoot like this? Like, why you do that? Just to see if she one of the greatest shooters in the world, I feel like I just be trying to get tips, and she the coolest, like, willing to help. And shout out Double C. I shouted her on my song too. I gotta tell her, she gonna love that. She told me, she was like, when you gonna put me in the song? I finally did it. She just got this keep going mentality. Bad games, whatever, like keep going and kill. Like she really got that kill mentality. And that's something a lot of athletes don't have. People who can like turn that on and off. But I don't think she turned it off. I see the hype, I get it. I love it.
She does. She sounds like she's about to launch into a track.
I just like it because I know we have this divide with Caitlin Clark, and it seems like everybody is just looking for the material that supports their position in this divide. And that's just like a really nice moment where you have this prominent athlete just raving about Caitlin Clark and their relationship and putting her in a song and all that. And we should hear that too, right?
Absolutely. And I also wish that somebody would take my words and edit them that way and put them to some music and bring the camera in and out. I think make anything you say sound a little bit better. Or a lot
we'll see
of it
what we
better.
can do on our next clip here. Cade will be on notice for that. There has been much attention about Caitlin Clark getting knocked around a lot and fouls not being called. Also, just generally, a lot of feedback on how bad the officiating is in the WNBA. And Kelsey Plum has had enough, and she went to the podium not caring about fines and just wanting to get her point across.
I also know, and I'm gonna get fined for saying this, but I drive more than anyone in the league. So to shoot 6 free throws is fucking absurd. And I got scratches on my face, I got scratches on my body, and these guards on the other team get these ticky-tack fouls, and I'm sick of it. I get fouled like that every possession. Ricky gets fouled like that in the post all the time, and they don't call it, and I don't know what else to do. It's really frustrating though. I'm like, I feel, there's multiple shots at the end of the game, either go into the third, into the fourth, where they're just coming in, just fucking swinging, and they just don't call anything. I don't understand how that's 6 free throws, playing 40 minutes, touching the paint almost every play is absurd. It's absurd, and so I'm saying, I'll get fined for that, and that's fine, but, and I needed to make more shots, late game, but, they're fouling the shit out of me every single play. So I'm very frustrated with that, and I'm sick of it. I don't know what I need to do. I talk to the refs nice. I pray before the game. Fuck, I'm over it.
Oh, man. That is someone who is so frustrated she couldn't keep it in anymore, and that's not usually how she is in a postgame. And I'm glad she said it. If Caitlin had said those same words, the internet would have imploded. It would have just.
This is kind of the sign of a growing league, right?
Ooh.
You're demanding more from everything about the league. You're demanding more from the facilities, from the training facilities, from the transportation, from the officials, from sponsors. They are moving forward right now, and
growing pains.
The players are better, the audience is better, and everything else needs to be better too. So I I think this is probably pretty typical. But yeah, I mean, you got players that are worth more money and fans who are more discerning about officiating now. So I think the officials need to listen to this kind of stuff and not just levy a fine, but also try to do better.
Exactly. That fine is coming too, I'm sure, if it's not out already. Wait, Aaron Rodgers is married? How about this from his first practice at the Steelers? You can see on his left hand there's the wedding band.
Yeah,
he didn't overshare on this.
That weightlifter's black wedding band there.
Yeah, made out of, I think it's made out of like some kind of rubber material.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, usually those are, yeah.
They're made out of rubber?
Like silicone?
Well, not like out of a condom, but yeah, like some kind of.
See, I always think like, remember in the movie The Abyss, and that electric door is shutting on Ed Harris's hand, and it's his his metal wedding ring that keeps it from cutting his fingers off.
Saves his life.
Yeah, that could save your life someday. Aaron Rodgers is going to lose those fingers. Yeah, it was like toward the end of his. He was up at the lectern there with the Steelers, and they were like, "What took you so damn long to sign this thing and get going with the Steelers?" And he was like, "Oh, I mean, I had a bunch of stuff going on in the off season." They were like, "What?" Well, a bunch of personal stuff. I won't get into. Yeah, just stuff going on. And I got married. It was like he almost forgot. Yeah. It almost slipped his mind.
This
like
is a guy.
He mentions the personal stuff, and somehow that stuff is not his wedding.
This is a guy who shares when he takes a dump in a dark hole.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this guy has never had any problem like sharing all of his stupid thoughts and theories on everything. Then he leaves out that he got married, which and don't say, well, it's his own business. It's not your business. What he told you, he told everybody. He did bring it up. He just almost forgot and almost left it out at the very end. So I don't know. Is this on brand for him or is it?
I don't know. But I do know the NFL season is more interesting with him in it. Now he might drive you a little crazy.
Yeah,
they're more interesting. Here's best guy moments. Now, in case you're only listening, this best guy moment starts with the guy carrying a duck into the kitchen.
What are you doing?
This is the pig I've been sleeping with.
That's a duck.
I wasn't talking to you. From now on, I won't be doing any more dishes.
And why is that?
Trump made it illegal for men to compete in women's sports.
Evening, sir. Where are you heading this late at night?
I was on my way to a lecture about alcohol and its effects on the human body and smoking and staying out late at night.
Who gives a lecture about that this late at night?
My wife.
How are you always so calm?
Because I never argue with stupid people. I just cut it short and tell them they're right.
That's completely ridiculous.
You're right.
Why are you home so early?
My boss, he told me to go to hell.
Man, this is like
with the who told him to go to hell? Couldn't hear
the
that.
Boss.
Oh, the boss. Okay.
So he went home. Yeah, this is like take my wife, please. This is.
Was that Henny Youngman?
I think it was Henny Youngman. Confluence is the official beer of Murph and Andy. Confluence is where good things come together. Also where they have a new hit on their hands, Old Tavern. Old Tavern is going really well for Confluence. It's already available just about anywhere. Let's get some more.
But wait, there's more. From Either Or Eatery and Patio.
You'll find it at 6222 Grand Avenue, home of the greatest fried bologna sandwich this side of Doug Morey's kitchen. There was a full moon this morning. I don't know if you saw it or were out late enough last night. It kind of peaked at 2:44 a.m.
Forgot to look up.
Yeah, it's in June. The full moon in June is called the strawberry moon because this is strawberry season. Now, there are subtle variations to the strawberry moon that can occur, such as if it has a yellowish glow to it, they call it the strawberry banana moon. If it has a creamy glow, but it's masked by some dirt brown, polluted air. They call that the Neapolitan moon. And if the moon is as bright white as a great big mound of uncut cocaine, they call that the Darryl Strawberry moon. Father's Day is coming up this weekend.
Nice.
And
that's this weekend?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, I was surprised by that. It is.
Yeah.
I assumed it was the weekend.
I thought it was
of,
one more.
The 20th, but yeah.
Okay.
My wife said, "Oh, Father's Day is Sunday." I said, "Oh,
Yeah. So I spent a few minutes with my dad this morning. I had done a long interview with him about his life back in October of 2020. It's only about 6 months before he died. He doesn't look good. His voice is fading, but his mind is still razor sharp. He's telling me the story. This is one of my favorite stories of his. The story of how after college, he didn't know what he wanted to do. So he moved back home, and my grandfather said, "No way you're sitting around here until you figure it out. Get off your butt. You got to do something, figure something out." So my dad applied to the business school and the law school at Washington University in St. Louis, and he really wasn't super excited about either one. So my dad drove down to campus.
So I got accepted at both the business school and the law school, Washington U. So I went over, wanted to, have the interviews at both schools. And I went to the business school a lot because it was the closest one. And I drove all around the lot and I couldn't find a place to park. So I drove out of the business school lot and down to the law school lot. And I found a place to park there. So I went up and had the interview with the law school dean, and he said, "Sure, come on in. I want to have you." We start, X of August or whatever. And
so you went into law school.
Yeah. Had I known the business school was 2 years, and law school 3, I would have gone to the business school.
Wow. There's life is like that though. Just these little random butterfly effects that change everything. Wow, that's
Great,
awesome. It's so great that you did that before he died.
Great dads are legendary, right?
Yes.
They have legends. Yeah. That is one of the legendary stories about my dad. My dad was an incredible lawyer, and the other lawyers that I've known that knew him have told me many times how good he was at his job. And it's so funny that he so picked
random,
that job because he found a parking space closer to the law school than the business school.
Meant to be, right?
I guess. And if that parking situation had not been what it was, probably wouldn't met my mom, wouldn't have.
You wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here. The show wouldn't be here. I mean, I am endlessly fascinated by life's little sliding doors, right?
Yeah.
The little things that happen that change everything. So, happy Father's Day week to my dad. On another note, Murph thinks he's found the best cake ever. What is this, a birthday cake? Wait a minute. Was it Chinese? What?
Có sảng khoái và hồn nhiên. Thế mà người ta cứ bảo mình điên trong khi mình vẫn sống an nhiên.
Look. Can you imagine putting that on the table? Hey, happy birthday. There's a pooping dog.
The Iowa Fireworks Farm has fireworks like that, where it's like, it's like, the little snakes, but it comes out of the dog's butt, and it's kind of this thing just kind of keeps going.
Oh yeah,
and that's not ash. That's runny.
That looks real. I mean that.
Where did you see this? Where did this come up?
I don't remember. I think it was on X.
No, it's funny stuff. Everybody's algorithms. Dr. Squatch's Sydney's Bathwater Bliss. That's the soap that was made with water that Sydney Sweeney had bathed in.
Yeah.
It was gobbled up by fans. It sold out in under a minute. They sold 5,000 bars at $8 a piece. And a few opportunists grabbed up some of those bars, and they're now trying to resell them for a great profit. In some instances, sellers are trying to lock in a sale at a markup of 20,000%. Currently on eBay, you can see bars for as much as $1,600, or you can pay as little as $10 for a picture of the soap like this in its packaging.
So you paid $10 for this picture?
Yeah. If you're somebody that does that, just
get help.
Go turn yourself in right now.
Get off the streets.
Yeah,
man,
you need help.
Does this come with a letter of authenticity, like my Notre Dame Heisman Trophy football back there? I mean, does it come with it? This is really her bathwater. She really peed in this and maybe even farted.
Oh, don't ruin Sydney Sweeney for America.
It's bathwater.
You use water, I guess, making soap. I don't know. They use water making everything, right? So they use some of that. But the Dr. Squatch's soap, I use it every day. It's great soap. They have all kinds of soaps, and some of it has some grit to it. It looks like that has medium grit, which means that you're grit. Yeah, it's got some grit to it. But man, whoever thought of that is people are listening to that guy now. Now here's Charles Barkley talking about being a rookie on a team with the great Dr. J.
He taught me how to dress. He taught me how to save my money. Because he says, yo, man, how many cars you got? I said, I got like 6. He says, well, how many can you drive at the same time? I'm like, what do you mean? He says, why you have 6 cars? And I couldn't give him a good answer. He said, Charles, everybody know who the fuck you are. He said, you ain't got to impress these people. Everybody know you Charles Barkley. He said, son, take those cars back. You need 1 car. If you want 2, that's fine. But them other ones, take them back. He said, son, this money got to last you for the rest of your life. He says, I know you think you're going to play basketball a long time. He said, basketball is going to be this shorter window of your life. Yep. He says, this money got to last you the rest of your life.
It's great advice.
Is Dr. J the coolest athlete ever?
He's in the conversation, especially if you go to the old Nets uniforms and the hair and
he was
the
a
hang time and the
fashion
dunk.
icon.
Jeez.
He changed the game.
Great nickname.
He looks so cool. The greatest nickname ever. Everybody loved him. They didn't like him. They loved him.
Oh, yeah. He made 76ers fans out of us all. I mean, at least when he was playing.
I still like the Sixers because of Dr. J. And I also feel like he just didn't ever get sideways with anything stupid. I mean, I think he's had some, business deals that probably didn't work out like anybody else. But I mean, he always looked good. I mean, he didn't make a fool out of himself with anything. He just, Dr. J set a bar that I don't think has ever been reached. I mean, there are guys that won certainly a lot more. He had 1 title, but he just was everything that you wanted in an athletic hero.
Those 76ers Celtics series in the early 80s were
just
fantastic.
In the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they would go and play, one of those teams would go and play the Lakers. I mean, the early 80s NBA was incredible.
It's great.
From the bowels of Instagram, we bring you this. Never forget the headline machine that was Bartolo Colon. God, remember him? Oh, man, he pitched forever. He was fat, and the fact that his name was Cologne, but it's spelled like colon, so you got Rangers get whiff of colon. Colon absorbs another pounding, but it's cologne. Yeah.
That had to be intentional, right?
Cologne absorbs another pounding, but of course it's colon absorbs another pounding. I mean, yeah, but he was a really good pitcher. But every time you put his name in print, it was way better than if you put it on a television broadcast, or when they did use a television broadcast, they would always put his name up just so they could put Colon up there. We'll end with this. The Conservancy of Southwest Florida says since 2013, they have captured and humanely killed 20 tons of invasive pythons now. They've hit the 20-ton mark, including 6,300 pounds off just this past breeding season. For those in need of visual, 40,000 pounds of python would be the equivalent to the size of a fire truck or a fully loaded city bus. Jeez. It is still just a small dent in dealing with South Florida's invasive snake problem. They believe that now none of these are native. They're not supposed to be there, and they are eating everything there. They believe there are between 30,000 and 300,000 pythons in Florida.
You don't want to think about that.
That's a wide-ranging guess, too. I don't know, somewhere between a lot and an absolute shitload. They don't even know.
Yeah, they'll send you a check for killing one.
They will. Yeah, if you don't kill the python, it's going to kill a bunch of other stuff. Oh, my God, yeah. All right, that's your more, everybody.
Grimaldi's fan photos to Murph_Andy at IowaEverywhere.com. Do not have to be from sports, just you having a good time. Grimaldi's Coal, Brick Oven Pizza, West Des Moines, or District at Prairie Trail in Ankeny. AD, who's this?
Yeah, we have the Vitzium family who won a few weeks ago. This is them enjoying their $50 gift card. Looks like they spent a little more than that at the Grimaldi's when they went there, but they sent us this picture as we like people doing.
Yeah.
And then on Monday night, Urbandale High School had the Urbandale Little League out to go out with the guys for the second game and be there for the national anthem. So we brought the kids out there. Here's head coach Troy Tronson talking to all the Little League boys between games, and we had a good time out there. So just wanted to highlight that as well.
When you're in Little League, that is a cool moment. You look up to those kids on the high school team. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Mr. Movie.
It's time to go to the movies with Mr. Movie, Mike Woody, presented by P&P Small Engines.
Yes, Mr. Movie. Mr. Movie, get out of your yard and into your home studio. I heard you're doing some yard work.
I've been doing yard work, yes.
Yeah, you got that. You got a good weed whacker there from P&P Small Engine. You're going to need it with the rain we've had.
Now, have you gotten, and they've been around for a while, but you used to have the weed whacker and you'd run out of cord and then you had to fish it back in and it never worked. Now it's just like a little cartridge. You take the old one out, put the new one in, and it's ready to go. It was like a beautiful thing.
The battery power has changed everything. I mean, the gas powered trimmers were just the worst. You could never get those things started, mixing and all that stuff. They got a whole line of the battery powered ones by Steel over there.
Yeah,
at,
it's pretty slick.
They're awesome. They are.
My grandmother used to have me mow her yard. She bought an electric mower. This is one of the first ones. We're talking about the late 1970s here. And it had this big thing. You'd mow one, you'd go down one strip, and then you had to flip the entire cord over with this device at the top of the mower. And, you were told constantly, whatever you do, don't run over the cord. And then you would get to a certain point of the yard and then no more cord. So you'd have to go find another outlet. It was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. I mean, her intent was good, but it was just an awful experience. And now they have come so far about these kind of things. All right, out of the box.
There is a rumor that that's Jeff's issue. He did run over the cord a couple of times. So.
Yeah, he might have. It will change you, that's for sure. Out of the box, Jack Nicholson has been nominated for 12 Academy Awards. Easy Rider, 5 Easy Pieces, The Last Detail, Chinatown, Reds, Preetsy's Honor, Ironweed, A Few Good Men, and About Schmidt. He won for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Terms of Endearment, and As Good as It Gets. What a body of work just in the nominated films. I mean, his work goes well beyond those 12, but we were asked to pick out our favorite from his 12 Academy Award nominated roles. And I am picking A Few Good Men. He is not in this movie that much, but what an impression he makes. And it's kind of a revelation just to see Tom Cruise hold his own in those electric court scenes. And as I'm sure you all know, just famously, all of the production crew and cast, everybody gathered around to watch the court scenes because they were so riveting, even, on the studio before the movie magic took place. He's great in this role of absolute power and arrogance, and it does him in at the end.
Yeah, it's amazing too to think. I mean, that cast is just loaded, right? But when he comes in, you wonder if he wanted to show everybody something. I mean, he kind of knew the company that he was in there, and he wanted to make sure everybody knew who the king really was. Ooh. And he just blew them away. And the stories about making this movie are almost as entertaining as the movie itself, talking about like Kevin Pollak sitting there and doing like the Tom Cruise part. I think he was reading the Tom Cruise part for the parts that Jack Nicholson is filming in the chair in the courtroom. Yeah. I think it's Kevin Pollak that's reading that. He's reacting to that.
But just that shot of his face, you know exactly what he's getting ready to say. And it's just such a classic line.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You can't handle the truth. And that's right after that speech about you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. And like all great movies that make you think, you can see the point that each of the main characters is making. It's just one crosses the line. Andy, what do you have from the Nicholson canon?
Well, Alexander Payne is one of my favorite directors. I love his movies, Election, Sideways, The Descendants, a really kind of an underrated movie with Bruce Dern called Nebraska. Alexander Payne is from Omaha, and he features Nebraska in a whole bunch of his stuff. The Holdovers, another one of his movies. But my favorite one, because it's so quirky and because it's got Jack Nicholson, is about Schmidt. And it's uncomfortable, and it's probably not for everybody. There are probably people that are just like didn't get it, didn't think it was funny, and I understand. But he is everything in this movie, right? I mean, he's subdued and over the top, and he's really funny, and he's pitiful, kind of like all you go through all the feels with him in this movie. It's no wonder that he was nominated for Best Actor for this, because he just dominates the movie and is so great. It has also a really good cast to it, including a naked Kathy Bates.
Oh,
Murph. Take a good hard look. See if you can see through the water there.
I can't. No, I don't have that big a screen.
Dermot Mulroney is so funny in this movie as his dipshit soon-to-be son-in-law that he's really, really disappointed is marrying his
Doesn't
daughter.
he work with waterbeds or at a waterbed place?
He's a waterbed salesman. It has a really funny, uncomfortable wedding reception with some terrible speeches in it. But at the end, it all wraps up with a really sweet message. It's not a long movie. It's just a great movie. And it's Jack Nicholson reminding you that he doesn't have to be Nathan Jessup to dominate a movie. He can be Warren Schmidt, an insurance actuary from Omaha. Like he's designed to be the most boring person in America, and somehow he just fascinates you for the whole movie.
There is a little bit of, there's that touch of sadness too. His career is ending, and people are trying to pretend that, that they care more than they actually do. And we've all seen that play out before. And it is good.
Doesn't like his wife that much. He really can't stand her, but then he finds out she's been cheating on him for like the last 30 years with his friend. It just makes it one of those movies. I love those movies that if you just think about them, you'll start laughing out loud and not realize it.
Mr. Movie, what do you have?
You know what? I'm going to go. And Jack Nicholson, he didn't really demand a big supporting role. he would just take these little parts just because A, he wanted to work with somebody, or B, he just thought it would be fun and, maybe he had nothing to do that week. But one of my favorite movies is Reds, which was directed by Warren Beatty, stars Julie Christie, and he comes in and he plays playwright Eugene O'Neill. I mean, the whole thing is about the Reds and the communists infiltrating our country. And he just takes this slimy, sleazy role just because I think he probably wanted to work with Beatty, who is still alive and probably could still work, but we haven't seen anything from him in years.
Well, and anybody in theater wants to play Eugene O'Neill.
Right. Yeah. If you've been in plays, you want to be
the greatest American playwright. Yeah,
right.
Of all time. Yeah.
So it's a great movie, and he does a wonderful job in it.
AD, what did you pick from Nicholson?
Yeah, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It won 5 Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, and then, of course, Best Actor for Jack Nicholson. He's so likable as the least crazy guy in the asylum, pushing boundaries, trying to get the others to revolt against Nurse Ratched. The scene where he creates the baseball game in his head and then gets everybody on board is iconic. It's so great. It's got a tough ending. It's not a real happy ending. The book is even better than the movie. I read the book after I saw the movie, but he's just fantastic.
He's so good in that you can't picture someone else in that role. I mean, he owns it.
I think this is one of the top 10 movies of all time.
It's another one of those movies, Mr. Movie, that I was talking to you about The Graduate last week or the week before, about how I heard my parents talk about it a million times, and I'm just like, that movie's too old. I'm not watching that. And then when I finally did, I'm like, why did I wait so long to watch this movie?
Cade watched this with me recently, and he loved it. He's 24 years old.
I was going to say, they're going to roll this back into the theaters. It's going to play at the, I don't know if it'll play on the IMAX screen, but it's going to play at the Palms.
Also, if you ever wondered where Robert Parrish got his nickname Chief, you will learn it in this movie. F1, the movie, is coming out starring Brad Pitt. We've been giving tickets away here on Murph and Andy. And we have 4 sets of 2 tickets to the Iowa premiere that we'll be giving out today. It's going to be an IMAX Wednesday, February 25th, 7 p.m. We'll find out right now who wins the 4 sets of 2 tickets. And then we have another pair of tickets we're giving away at the end of this show, and that's a hashtag F1 Palms. You can still get in on that. F1 Palms, any platform you're watching on, the many that you can, and we'll pick one more winner at the end of the show. And then, of course, we'll keep doing this right up until the premiere. Who won today, AD?
Yeah, our 4 email winners, Katie Evans, Mike Damon, Valerie Connell, and Michael Nussbaum are our 4 email winners. I've already let them know via email. And then, hashtag F1 Palms, and you can still win a pair today.
It's going to be a big night. Great buzz on this movie, and word is you need to see it in IMAX, so that means Palms. At the box office, Lilo and Stitch still leading. John Wick Ballerina did well. The Phoenician bombed. Right? Yeah,
Those
you're
guys
glad.
need to stop making movies.
All right, let's go to the reviews. From the world of John Wick, Ballerina.
I don't, it's a dark movie. It's a messy movie. It has absolutely little to do with John Wick, other than there's a lot of people killed and Keanu Reeves staggers through a shot or two. But it's just a bloodbath of gunfights, and you don't know who the half of them are, and you don't really care about the other half. It's just, I don't know. It's a solid C-, but I just wanted to walk out. I didn't, but I wanted to.
There's just not a story. It sounds like it's just
there's no story at all, and they want you to believe that there's this whole world, and nobody believes there's this whole world.
Is there a ballerina in it? Is the assassin used to be a ballerina or something?
There is a ballerina in it. Yeah, it does have a ballerina in it. So
okay. So that's not a good grade. Stick is on Apple TV. I am really looking forward to this. Owen Wilson is a guy who went viral for having a meltdown on the PGA Tour at an event, and his life just spins out from there. And I think Mark Maron is his former caddy or his mentor or something. And I don't know where it goes from there, but this sounds like something I'd really enjoy. What'd you think?
I watched the initial episode, and it was I was laughing. Sue wasn't home. I'm laughing out loud, with the cats and the dog. Owen Wilson has never been better. He plays this guy that he has little talent left, but he does everything he can to make money before he's out. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, I've seen the first 3 episodes. I think the first 3 all dropped at the same time on
you
Apple
can
TV.
Watch 3 already?
Yeah, and I think
I
the
just
fourth
thought
is
one was
coming
out
soon. And it's very good. It's not quite Ted Lasso in my mind. It doesn't quite reach those heights, or at least not yet. But Owen Wilson is his Owen Wilson-ness. It's him in Wedding Crashers, fast talking and kind of a con man, and yeah, it's there are elements of like Happy Gilmore in it. It's fun. I'm enjoying it so far, and I'll keep watching.
Yeah,
right,
no one does Owen Wilson better than Owen Wilson.
Oh, yeah. What are you going for the grade here
It's
so
a-
far
it's a-
after
You
one?
know what? It's a B+.
All right, good. It sounds like AD would agree with that. Department Q is on Netflix and is not at all like Stick.
No, not at all. This is a very dark series about murders, and something is going on, and this guy they pull out of retirement, or he's been having some issues, and he comes in. Did you ever see the show House?
Yes.
Okay. This guy is like House on steroids. He's rascally, he's mean, Sue and I sat here, and we don't do a lot of the streaming stuff. We watched 4 episodes, boom, boom, boom. It was it's really good. I can't wait to get back into it.
Oh, okay. What's the grade there, Mr. Movie?
It's a B+ as well.
B+. All right, next week, How to Train Your Dragon live action movie. Man, my kids love the How to Train Your Dragon animated version. How many were there? 2 or 3? I don't know, but they were fun.
Yeah, they were fun. I'm headed there tonight. I had to drive out to the Palms and get my ticket early.
Look at this photo from Madden movie of Christian Bale as Al Davis. I mean, I think he's disappearing into this role.
Yeah, I don't see him. I looked at that. I don't see him.
Which we've been talking about how it seems like maybe Nicolas Cage is a better John Madden than we anticipated.
Yeah,
right?
the one photo made it look that way. Yeah,
or one photo did. So this one photo makes me think that maybe this is a better fit than I thought initially. That's good.
Hey, did I say the Palms premiere was in February? Did I somehow just have a brain cramp? It's June.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
June 25th. It's
25th.
possible. June 25th. Yeah, a couple weeks from now. Well, yeah. 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a
2
big
weeks
night.
from today.
And it sounds like that theater is going to be full, or it looks like
yeah.
it's going to be full because we got a lot of people who want to go.
Yeah, it will be full. It's a cool thing. All right, thank you, Mr. Movie. We'll give
All right,
away 2 more tickets at the end of the show. Thank you, Mike.
See you next week.
That is Mr. Movie, presented by P&P Small Engine. Time now for Throwdowns.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto, treating you like family in Ankeny, Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, and Creston, an authorized dealer of both Bridgestone and Firestone tires. Murph, the NBA Finals move to Indianapolis tonight for Game 3. If you had to bet a week's pay, would you bet that this series ends after 5, 6, or 7 games?
Ooh, week's pay. 6. I think the Thunder win in 6. I think 5 is possible, though. I'm low confidence on the Pacers winning tonight or any game. When you look at the first 2 games, I mean,
Yeah.
the Pacers led for what, 2 minutes, 1 minute?
Yeah.
The entire 2 games.
Think maybe
This
they don't win
still-
another game?
I do think they'll win one more game. I do. So I'll say 6.
I think they'll win another game also. I'll go with 6, but yeah, I mean, the final minute of both of these games were just dominated by Oklahoma City.
Andy, Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. Will he be bad, decent, good, or great this season?
I think he'll be good. The question is the team around him good also? I think he'll be able to do what he does, and that's put passes where they need to be. They've got to protect him. He's not a guy that buys himself time well anymore. They've got to have, some support from a running game, but he definitely makes players a lot better around him. So I think that they'll be better at it. They're not going to be a Super Bowl team, but Aaron Rodgers is one of those quarterbacks that, he's of that style where he can keep his main skill, I think, later into his career than others.
Yeah, he hasn't been hit that much. I think he'll be good. I don't think he's going to be great, but he was pretty good with the Jets last year, and he's had another year for that Achilles to heal. So I think he'll be good, and he's surrounded by a better team and a better coach than he had with the Jets. So I think he'll get him to the playoffs, and he'll be good if he stays healthy. But yeah, they're not a Super Bowl team.
All right, Murph, Overthinking on Monday had a long conversation about setting alarms in the morning. I think we all had a version of this alarm clock at some point.
We did.
I haven't had to set an alarm since my son got out of his crib about 9 years ago. Do you set an alarm in the morning, Murph?
I don't. Only on rare occasions, like need to get to the airport or have something to do in the morning where I have to be there. So no, I don't. And I'm more worried about just that photo giving Andy a flashback.
Oh God. I had 2 alarms back then when I was on the morning show. I had 2 going.
Probably still had anxiety.
Yeah, right. It only got 5 hours of sleep though. So, but I had to have the alarm to get up then. I don't have to have it anymore. But I mean, God bless the Alexa alarms that Amazon Echo Dot, whatever that orb is on my bedside table. That's just amazing. The alarm sounds are way better. You could just give it a verbal command. It's set every day. It's totally changed the game. But all that said, I'm basically always out of bed before the alarm actually goes off.
All right, that's Throwdowns.
All right. Thank you, AD. It is time for AD's audio drop of the day. We call it the AD Squared.
Yeah, it's powered by Game Day Men's Health. I go to the one in Ankeny. You can go to West Des Moines, North Liberty, wherever you are. There's a game day near you. Taking care of men all over the place. So check them out. Free consultation. They'll let you know what you need, what you don't need. All of that good stuff. The NHL final continues. The Panthers with a 6-1 win in Game 3 take a 2-1 lead in the series. Looks like they're headed towards a repeat.
Hope that guy cashed in that ticket.
Yes, exactly. One young Panthers fan enjoyed the game, but not so much the goals.
Okay, peel back the curtain a little bit. We interviewed 9-year-old Sophia here before the game, and I asked her what her favorite part of Florida Panthers games are. Sophia, what is your favorite part of Panthers game?
The fighting.
The fighting. Okay, so now I have to ask you, now that it has become the big story from this game, what did you think about the fighting, especially in that third period?
It was really good, and I really liked how they punched each other a lot.
Now, did you feel like the Panthers won the fight in addition to the game?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So do you want to be our Local 10 fighting hockey expert?
Yes.
Jeez. Well, it does have an appeal.
Her dad might be Florida man. Watch out.
Look out. Quickie poll results presented by WCI Pools and Spas.
Should men's college basketball switch from halves to quarters? Yes, 76% of the vote. It's a runaway. 24% say no.
Quickie poll results were presented by WCI Pools and Spas. We have one more set of tickets for the F1 movie starring Brad Pitt from the director of Maverick. Hashtag is F1 Palms, and do you have a generator to find out who wins? Oh, wow, look at this.
Let's do this together. This is the first time. Cool. Hopefully you don't win.
Holy smokes.
Adam Herzog. That is cool. I think that's the way we need to give more tickets away. I like that. That's fun. So it's just a random generator. I'll bet you like having this pressure taken off you, AD.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. I got a pick. Adam Herzog, congratulations. And we'll see you at the June 25th Iowa premiere in IMAX of F1.
And he immediately answers. He's there. He says, LFG.
LFG.
Adam,
LFG.
Email me at Murph_Andy@iowaeverywhere.com and we'll get you set up.
Yeah, only email, though, if you want those tickets, Adam.
Yeah, we want you to claim them.
Looks like he does.
Thanks for being part of Murph and Andy here on Iowa Everywhere. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe. It's easy to do. You see how to do it right there if you're watching now. We're back Friday. We are live in Bondurant. Andy, what time should people show up?
Well, we start at 1 o'clock, but if you want to get there and make sure to get yourself a table, I'd get there 15, 30 minutes early.
Looks like more good weather.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we'll see you there in Bondurant.
All right. We are back Friday, and we hope you are too.
Murph and Andy was brought to you by Ramsey Subaru on Hickman Road in Urbandale.